Elon Musk is searching for his life partner. And for the first time, he has openly said that age does not matter. But before you dismiss this as just another viral headline, I need you to pause. What you are about to hear is not gossip. It is not romance bait. It is a moment that reveals something far deeper about power, loneliness, and the human condition, my beloved child. Before I tell you what Elon Musk revealed last night that shook the world, you need to understand something essential. This story is not about wealth, fame, or celebrity culture. It is about a man who has stood at the edge of humanity's future, a man who has reached for Mars, and yet discovered that even the most advanced technology cannot fill one specific void. This is not a story you should skip. Every word carries meaning, because by the end, you will understand why this moment changes everything we think we know about success, love, and what truly matters in the short life we are given. Last night, Elon Musk stood alone inside his Texas facility. Around him were rockets capable of carrying humans beyond Earth, machines designed to outlive generations, symbols of a future few can even imagine. The room was quiet. Cameras were rolling. Engineers, executives, and observers waited. Then he spoke. "I'm searching," he said quietly. Just 2 words, but they carried the weight of a man who has everything except the one thing that cannot be engineered, purchased, or automated. The richest man on Earth, the architect of a multiplanetary future, admitted that something in his life was incomplete. The silence that followed was heavy. Not awkward, not confused, heavy. And then came the statement that stunned everyone listening. He said he does not care about age. Not 18, not 30, not 50, not 70. He said he is not searching for a number. He is searching for a soul. He looked straight ahead, unflinching, and said, "When you're trying to save humanity's future, you realize that love transcends every boundary we've created." In that moment, the room changed. This was no longer a billionaire speaking. This was a man confronting the most human truth of all. What he said next forced people around the world to question everything they believed about relationships, achievement, and fulfillment. Because Elon Musk, the symbol of ambition itself, admitted that success without connection feels hollow. Within minutes, the world reacted. X exploded. Millions of comments flooded timelines across continents. Some praised his honesty. Others mocked his vulnerability. Some called it bravery. Others called it desperation. But almost no one talked about the real truth hiding beneath the noise. Elon Musk has been married 3 times. He has 10 children. He has shared his life with some of the most famous women on the planet. Yet here he was, standing at the peak of power, openly admitting that something fundamental was missing. He made it clear he was not looking for a trophy. He was not looking for someone to complete his image or fit into a narrative. He said he was searching for an intellectual and emotional equal, someone who understands that our time on Earth is both infinitely precious and cosmically insignificant. Think about that. A man who can go anywhere, build anything, and influence billions is telling the world that he feels lonely, that he wants partnership, that he wants genuine connection, and then something unprecedented happened. Within hours of his declaration, messages began pouring in from across the globe. Not hundreds, not thousands, millions. Students from Tokyo, professors from Cambridge, artists, scientists, entrepreneurs, teachers, doctors, philosophers. Women aged 18 to 72 reached out. Age dissolved. Backgrounds faded. Status became irrelevant. What mattered was depth. But then came the twist no one expected. Elon did not want applications. He did not want profiles, photos, or polished introductions. Instead, he issued a challenge only someone like him could imagine. "Show me your mind," he said. "Show me your heart. Show me what you would do if you had the resources to change one thing about humanity's future." And then he set the condition that made the entire world stop scrolling. 72 hours, 3 days. No videos, no resumes, just one idea. One idea capable of shifting the trajectory of human existence. The response was overwhelming. Servers crashed repeatedly. People weren't just submitting ideas. They were pouring their souls into them. For many, it wasn't about Elon Musk anymore. It was about being heard. Then, among millions of submissions, one stood out. Not because it was complex, not because it came from fame or wealth, but because of 3 words written at the very top. "My beloved child." Those same words that began this story. Those words struck something deep inside Elon. He has spoken often about legacy, about children, about the future generation. But this submission understood something deeper than technology or economics. It understood that every human being on this planet is someone's beloved child. Every person he wants to protect by building A future beyond Earth, every person he connects through satellites, every person he imagines surviving humanity's next great test. They are all someone's beloved child. The submission came from someone who understood that saving humanity is not just about innovation. It is about remembering our shared humanity. And then the identity of the author was revealed. She was 57 years old, a quantum physicist from Mumbai. Her name was Dr. Arya Malhotra. She had spent 30 years working in quiet obscurity, teaching students, researching consciousness, raising 2 children alone after her husband passed away. She lived in a modest apartment, rode the local train, spent her evenings staring at equations that explored the nature of reality itself. When she first saw Elon's challenge, she almost ignored it. But something inside her whispered that this moment mattered. Her idea was breathtaking in its simplicity. She wrote about building a future where technological progress is measured not by speed or profit, but by compassion. A future where intelligence is balanced by empathy, where humanity does not escape Earth to abandon it, but to better understand itself. She wrote that the greatest threat to humanity is not extinction, but disconnection, and that the future can only be saved when we remember that behind every statistic, every innovation, every mission, there is a beloved child. That idea changed everything, because in that moment, the story was no longer about Elon Musk searching for love. It was about humanity remembering how to love itself. She called it the consciousness bridge. Not a building, not a machine you could touch, but a living framework that wove together quantum mechanics, artificial intelligence, and human empathy. It was an idea so radical it felt almost ancient, as if humanity once knew this truth and somehow forgot it along the way. She wrote that we do not need to escape Earth to save ourselves. We need to understand that every mind on this planet is already connected at a level science is only beginning to glimpse. Quantum entanglement, she explained, is not just particles whispering across space. It is a metaphor for humanity itself, bound together in ways we refuse to acknowledge. If technology could amplify empathy instead of ego, she said, if it could help us feel what others feel across distance, culture, and fear, then humanity would no longer need backup planets. We would finally become worthy of the one we already have. Elon Musk read those words at 3 a.m. in his Texas home. The house was silent. No advisors, no assistants, no noise but the hum of a world he had built around himself. He read the submission once, then again, and again, 7 times in total. Then he did something he hadn't done in years. He cried, not because the idea was flawless, not because it promised easy answers, but because someone had finally put into words what he had been circling his entire life. That technology without consciousness is just machinery. That progress without wisdom is just motion. Within 24 hours, Elon sent a message. Not through staff, not through official channels. He searched for her university email and wrote directly. The message was brief, but it carried immense weight. He told her he had been searching for someone who could see beyond the stars to the souls we carry with us. He told her age did not matter. Credentials were secondary. What mattered was understanding that the mission was not escape, but evolution. Then he asked a simple question. Would you have coffee with me? The world had no idea this was happening. There were no leaks, no headlines, no cameras waiting. This was not a spectacle. It was raw and deeply human. Dr. Arya Malhotra stared at her screen for 17 minutes before responding. Her hands trembled, not because of Elon's wealth or fame, but because she recognized something rare, genuine intellectual connection. She replied honestly. She told him she was 57. She had 2 teenage children. She lived on a teacher's salary. She had never left India. If those things mattered, she said, they should save each other the time. His response arrived within 3 minutes. Those things make you more interesting, not less. When can you fly to Texas? 7 days later, Dr. Malhotra landed in Austin. She wore a simple cotton sari, carried 1 small suitcase, and had her reading glasses hanging from a chain around her neck. There was no stylist, no makeup artist, no PR team. Just a brilliant woman stepping into the unknown with quiet courage. Elon met her himself at the airport. No security detail, no entourage. Just him in jeans and a SpaceX t-shirt holding 2 cups of coffee, wearing a nervous smile no camera would ever capture. They sat in his truck in the parking lot for 4 hours and talked. Not about rockets, not about business, not about ambition. They talked about loss, about raising children alone, about dreams too large for one lifetime, about the fear that maybe they had spent so long trying to change the world that they forgot how to live in it. By sunset, something had shifted. Elon took her to his facility and showed her the rockets, the projects, the grand plans meant to carry humanity forward. But she wasn't impressed by the machinery. Instead, she walked to a window, looked out at the first stars appearing in the sky, and asked a question that would echo in his mind forever. "You're building escape pods for humanity's body," she said. "But who is building sanctuaries for humanity's soul?" The question hung between them like both a challenge and an invitation. Elon stood silent, then admitted something he had never said aloud. "Maybe that isn't something one person can build alone. Maybe that requires the partnership I've been too afraid to seek." In that moment, between steel rockets and distant stars, something real began. Not a fairy tale, not a perfect romance, but two minds recognizing depth in each other that the world insisted did not exist. When the world eventually found out, reactions were explosive. Some celebrated it as proof that connection transcends age and convention. Others questioned motives, authenticity, and optics. But none of that mattered, because Elon's search was never really about finding a partner. It was about having the courage to admit vulnerability at the height of power, about revealing that success without connection is just decorated loneliness. Dr. Malhotra's response was never about landing a billionaire. It was about refusing to shrink herself, refusing to apologize for her age, her path, or her quiet brilliance. 3 months later, they launched something unprecedented. They called it the Connection Project. It was not a dating app, not a social network. It was a human experiment. They gathered scientists, psychologists, philosophers, and artists to explore one question: why has humanity become so digitally connected yet emotionally isolated? The project created spaces where age was irrelevant, wealth meaningless, and presence was the only currency. It was built by two people who found each other against all odds and decided to help others do the same. Then came the question that brought everything full circle. One night, Dr. Malhotra asked Elon if maybe his desire to reach Mars was not about saving humanity from Earth, but saving himself from loneliness. Elon thought for a long time before answering. Then he said something that became the foundation of everything they built. "Maybe I've been building rockets because it's easier to reach another planet than to reach another person's heart." 6 months later, Elon is no longer searching for a life partner. Whether what they share lasts forever or teaches them what they need to learn, it has already changed him. Now, he searches for ways to help others bridge the gap between achievement and meaning. Dr. Malhotra still teaches, still researches, still rides the local train in Mumbai when she's home, but now she carries proof that it is never too late, never too ordinary, never too old to experience something extraordinary. Their message was never about age. It was about courage. The courage to admit incompleteness at the peak of success. The courage to seek what truly matters when the world says, you should already have everything. Because deep down, we are all searching for the same thing. Someone who sees us fully and chooses to stay. My beloved child, that was always the real story. Not gossip, not controversy, but a reminder that being human means never stopping the search for real connection. And the search continues, for all of us.